All right, so we left off the other day where he went to the Daly's house, right? So the Officer Daly surprised him and didn't take him to Martin Hall Juvenile Detention Center, but actually brought him to his own home. So that was something we discussed, and now I'm going to begin when he gets to know the Dalys a little bit more. I sat at the kitchen table while Mrs. Daly fixed hot cocoa. She set a plate of cookies down near me. I was so hungry. I wanted to eat them all right away, but I didn't. I waited. I looked down by the side of my chair to make sure I had my laundry bag and doggie. Officer Daly had returned to his station house to change his clothes and bring back his police car. He said he wouldn't be gone long. "My, but you're the quietest little boy I've ever seen," she said. I smiled. She came over to me and brushed back my hair. "I wonder why big people like to do that. Isn't there anything you'd like to talk about or ask me?" She asked. Yes, ma'am." "Oh, good. What? Is Thanksgiving over, or did it come yet?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Gosh, I wonder what's so sad about Thanksgiving." "Is there something wrong?" I asked. "No," she said. She leaned down and kissed the top of my head. "There's nothing wrong." She went over to the stove and filled 2 cups with cocoa. She set them on the table, then sat across from me. She moved the plate of cookies. "Thanksgiving is next week," she said. "Would you like a great big turkey with cranberry sauce?" "Oh, yeah," I said. Just the thought of turkey made my mouth water. "Good. Right now, have some cookies." "Thank you." I heard the front door close. "That must be Bob," she said. "Gosh, that was quick." "Hi," he said as he stuck his head in the kitchen door. I liked the way Mrs. Daly said, "gosh." I gobbled down 2 cookies, one right after the other. "My God," she said, "he's starving." "When did you eat last?" he asked. I looked up toward the ceiling to think. "Well, if you have to think about it," she broke off. "Didn't you guys ask if he was hungry?" she huffed. She moved quickly about the kitchen, fixing me something. Officer Daly shrugged his shoulders. "Men," she snapped. She handed me a piece of bread and butter. "Never mind the cookies," she said. "Eat this. I'll fix you a hamburger." "Thank you." "Would you like something, dear?" she asked more calmly. "No, thanks. I'll just have some coffee and try to get our little friend here to talk." "Oh, he'll talk to me." "Don't bet on it," he smiled and pinched my cheek. "Won't you?" she asked. She leaned down for my answer. "What do you want to know?" Officer Daly threw his hands in the air. "Would you look at this? The whole police department couldn't get him to say a word." He paused to shake his head. "Then you come along, give him a few cookies, and he spills everything." We all laughed. I knew he already knew everything he needed to know from my papers and talking to the home. If he knew my name, I thought, he knew everything. We talked a little bit while Mrs. Daly fixed me a hamburger. I told them why I ran away from the home. I told them I knew running wasn't a good thing to do, but I was too ashamed to say or stay. "Listen, son," he said, "running away isn't good, but sometimes it's better to run to find help or safety than it is to stay and suffer hurt or shame. The important thing about running," he added, "is to make sure you honestly feel you have a good reason." Mrs. Daly placed the hamburger in front of me. My eyes widened. "Dig in," she said. "We'll talk later." I bit into the hamburger. It was delicious. "Aren't you going to give Doggie a bite?" Officer Daly asked. "Doggie? Who's Doggie?" she asked. "He's my friend." "Well, if he's as hungry as you are." I reached down and brought Doggie out of the bag. "Oh, he's cute," she said, "but he's filthy." I looked at Doggie. He was a bit dusty. "He's been kind of busy," I said. They laughed. They asked me a million questions about my family, the homes I was in, and the people I met along the way. They asked me everything. Sometimes Mrs. Daly's eyes filled with tears. At other times, they both laughed or just stared at me. I couldn't tell what they were thinking. I told them almost everything. The only parts I left out were about the times I stayed in the zoo. I figured if Mr. Daly was a policeman, he might arrest me for sneaking into the zoo. "Tell me a little more about Sal," he asked. "Well, what about him?" "Well, he sounds like a very nice person." "Oh, he is. He's wonderful. He tickles me and makes me laugh." "Did he ever say why he couldn't take care of you?" I tapped my upper lip, trying to think of what Sal had said. "Let's not worry about that now," Mrs. Daly said. "I'm sure he has his reasons." "Oh, he does," I said. "I'm trying to think of the words he used. He said he couldn't, well, he said didn't want to lie to me and say he was going to come when he wasn't. He wasn't ready to make a commitment, Officer Daly said. That's it. He wasn't ready to make a commitment. He wanted to change jobs and get things settled. That's why I couldn't find him. Did you look for him? Did you look for Sal? Yes, I did, he said, but I didn't have much luck. He's in a truck. I know, he laughed. I'll find him, don't worry about it. Why do you want to find Sal? Well, we thought he might be ready to take care of you. No, I shook my head. He's not. How can you be so sure? He didn't come for me. He said he wouldn't come for me till he could keep me. Oh, he said, I see. Okay, boys, the grilling is over. Time for a bath. Are you going to take a bath, sir? They laughed. He paused it.